To understand which additional parameters can influence the product cost calculation, let us go to the Product Size section. If we enable Set Product Size, a message will appear stating that setting the product size here is optional. It is reference information and does not affect the product size configuration in the applications. This may be necessary when configuring applications such as the constructor or the smart uploader. After all, it is in the applications that users create or upload layouts, so the product dimensions are necessary for their proper functioning. At this stage, we do not need this parameter. Let's disable it. In the previous videos, we changed the product size by selecting elements in the Format option, like A6, A5, and A4. Indeed, we can use options to define product sizes, but the number of option elements cannot be unlimited. We cannot provide the user with all possible size variants via option element selection. But what if the customer wants to place an order with a non-standard size, for example, a flyer 30 by 30 centimeters or a banner measuring 5 by 1 meter? VentumPrint allows the user to specify custom product dimensions. To do this, enable Allow User to Set Product Size parameter. A subsection with product size settings will open. Below, two panels are displayed: Quantity Dependency on Print Area and Calculate the number of printed shades. Also, in the Price field, as you remember, we previously used the price per product unit, and now the label has changed to Price for 1 square centimeter. Let's look at it in more detail. In the two-dimensional printing context, size is described by two parameters, width and height. These parameters can be set in different units of measurement. For example, for the product sticker, it makes sense to use millimeters for the width and height units and square millimeters for the area unit, while for wide format printing, meters and square meter respectively. Let's suppose the user wants to order the product flyer with the size 30 by 30 centimeters. How can we provide them with this possibility? In this case, when configuring the flyer product, we select square centimeters in the area units. Accordingly, the price must be specified per 1 square centimeter. The names of the width and height fields can be adapted to the specific product type. For example, banner width or banner height. For our example, we will specify flyer width and flyer height. The width and height cannot be infinite, so let us limit their range. Set the width range from 5 cm to 50 cm with a step of 5, and create a similar range for the height. Save and check it on the website. The size input for the flyer product has appeared. The minimum acceptable size is 5 by 5 centimeters. For a print run of 10 pieces, the total cost will be 250 euros, which corresponds to 25 euros per flyer. How is this price formed? Recall that in the price field, the price for 1 square centimeter was set at 1 euro. According to the area calculation formula for a rectangle, width 5 centimeters multiplied by height 5 centimeters results in 25 square centimeters. Considering the cost of 1 euro per each square centimeter, the price of one flyer is 25 euros. Thus, when the user can set custom sizes, the product price calculation is based on the price per unit area, not on the price per product unit. Let us return to the settings. You can define fixed values for the width and height range. Enter them in this field separated by commas, similarly to the quantity section in the previous videos. If you enable the height proportional to width parameter, the product will always remain square if the height to width ratio in this field is set to 1. Let's enable it, save, and check on the website. Move the width slider to 30 centimeters. As you can see, the value of the flyer height slider is automatically also set to 30 centimeters, and vice versa. Set the height, the width is automatically set as well. In the height to width ratio settings, let us define the ratio as 5 to 1. That is height 1, width 5. Save and check on the website. Now the flyer height is 5 times greater. If we need the width to be 5 times greater than the height, go back and enter the coefficient 0.2 in this field. Save and check. If the flyer width is set to 20 centimeters, the height value will automatically be set to 4 centimeters. Let's disable proportionality to set the width and height independently. Enable manually enter values. Save and check on the website. A manual input field appeared. We set the step to 5 centimeters. So if the user enters 32 centimeters, the slider rounds it to the nearest allowed value, that is 30 centimeters. There is no difference in cost calculation using options, regardless of whether the price is set per product unit or per unit area. Options are applied the same way. Let's enable, for example, the paper type option. Let us recall the following prices were specified for the elements of this option. For 150 grams, 0. For 200 grams, we added plus €1 to the price. For 250 grams, we added plus €2 to the product price. The cost calculation type for this option is summing. In the coefficients section, the quantity coefficient is set by default. Let's check how the price changes on the website. Set the size 20 by 20 centimeters, quantity 10, with the price of €1 per square centimeter. The cost per unit will be €400. When selecting paper type 150 grams, the price does not change. If we select 200 grams, €1 is added to the total product cost regardless of its area, and the final price is €401 for one piece. However, in our case, we want the surcharge to be applied not to the entire product, but to each unit of area, that is, so that €1 is added to each square centimeter. Let's go back to the paper type option settings and link it to another coefficient. Click Add Coefficient. New coefficient options have appeared in this list. You can link paper type to width, height, perimeter, or area. Let's choose area. Now, €1 will be added to each unit of area. Save and check on the website. Format 20 by 20 centimeters. When selecting 150 grams, the price is €400 per unit. When selecting 200 grams, €800 per unit. That is €1 per each square centimeter. When selecting 250 grams, where we added €2 in the settings, the price is €1,200 per unit. This way, by linking the option to coefficients, we can apply a summing option to the entire print run, to each product unit, or even to each unit of area, as in the example above. We can apply the option not to the entire area, but for example only to the width. Select to apply to width, Save, and check on the website. Size 20 by 20 centimeters, quantity 10. When selecting 150 grams, the price remains 400 euros per unit. When selecting 200 grams, 420 euros. And when selecting 250 grams, 440 euros per unit. 1 euro is multiplied only by the width. Applying the option to the perimeter is convenient, for example, in canvas printing, where the cost of the frame for the canvas needs to be calculated.